Hey, welcome to the virtual campground. We're out here boondocking and thought we'd do a quick impromptu boondocking roundtable. We are here with Ken and April of livingastoutlife.com. I said I was going to let you introduce yourselves, and I just introduced you.
No, that was magnificent.
That's how impromptu this is. We haven't practiced this at all.
No.
So we are learning how to boondock. April and Ken have done this quite often, and they have showed us some of the ropes, and we were talking about that, and we thought we would pop on here, record a few of these tips, and share that with you all. Tell us a little bit about your RV experience. How long have you been RVing? And tell us a little bit about why you like to boondock.
It's been 2 years.
Yeah, a little over 2 years we've been RVing full time. And I think a lot of our boondocking comes from, one, we're really cheap.
No, it comes from all of our money gets spent on beer and food.
That's true. We're not cheap. We just spend all our money on beer.
You know where to spend it. You have priorities.
That's right. You have priorities on
Yes.
spending
Right.
money.
Campgrounds are not the priority if there's beer and food.
But I think it also stems more from how we kind of grew up and how we raised our kids growing up camping in the middle of kind of nowhere without campgrounds and without amenities or services. So it kind of just became a given that that's exactly how we're going to RV.
Yeah, I think that really, one, it's something we enjoyed doing in the first place, is getting off the grid and just being out in the middle of nowhere. But two, I think it's helped prepare us for boondocking in the RV, because for a lot of people, I think it's a little scary, but for us, it was just, we had to learn more about our RV and how everything worked with the RV, and the being out in the middle of nowhere didn't faze us because that's what we've been doing. So I think it prepared us for that a good bit. And as far as a lot of the things we're going to talk about, as far as conserving energy, conserving water, what do you do with trash? What do you do with potty? All that good stuff,
Just let's define
Yeah.
boondocking the way we see it.
So then it's the way I would think most RVers see boondocking is like dry camping. You don't have any hookups. So boondocking could mean that you're paying $10 to $15 a night for a campground, and you might have like a vault toilet available to you, but you generally do not have any kind of hookups. So that is technically boondocking. When we first started, boondocking to us, to like the tent campers, when we first started before the RV, it was like dispersed camping, which dispersed camping means you don't pay, you don't definitely have an RV.
Yeah.
You're tent camping, but like
But
I
there
said
are
before,
dispersed
though.
camping
But yes.
grounds that allow RVs.
Yeah.
Oh
There
yeah.
are
I mean,
some-
dispersed
yeah,
is like
absolutely.
BLM
Yeah.
or Forest Service land, kind of like where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And like I said, though, if I'm gonna live in nature, I'm not gonna live in a tent. So I'm perfectly happy living in an RV right now.
And also it is typically, I don't know of any that aren't no reservations. You sort of go
Right.
onto the land and you try to find a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dispersed
That's
camping,
dispersed.
which is our primary source for boondocking, because we and that is going to be mostly Forest Service land
Or BLM.
or Bureau of Land Management land, BLM land.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to get the majority of your off-the-grid boondocking.
But
where
you
you're
can
not
do,
paying
like I said,
anything.
boondocking where you could need a reservation at campgrounds
Yeah.
Yes.
where there are no hookups.
Yes.
And
Well-
that's still technically boondocking, though.
And
Yeah.
technically, Walmart, Cracker Barrel is still
Yeah,
boondocking.
that's boondocking
You know.
to us because
But
that's
I
the
really
only
think of that as
experience we
mooch
have.
stocking.
Yeah, I think we'll
it's
go with
really,
mooch stocking.
Yeah, it's mooch stocking. That's
Yeah.
right. You're borrowing someone's
For a
property
really
for a
short
night.
period of time, whereas
Right.
boondocker,
Yeah.
we're thinking longer term,
Yeah.
and that gets back
Right.
to your limitations on your RV. How long depends on your RV and what you know
Well, and
about your
I'm
RV.
saying, like, for our purposes here, like, boondocking for what we're talking about is more like getting back to nature.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like we are now. We're on Forest Service land outside of Durango, and basically you drive through and you look for an open spot and you park. As long as it's you don't just pull off the road anywhere. It's sort of
They have some
there are
marked
sort
spots.
of
They have
some
some marked
spots that are
spots.
available.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of places you can just pull off the road
Really?
anywhere especially on a lot of BLM land you can. But, we still try to be conscious of what we're doing. I mean, if there are already plenty of spaces where people have been using, you can see it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's worn down
It's
and
more
stuff.
dark, dirt.
And
There's
why
not
don't
bushes.
you use that instead of tearing
Creating
up a
something
new
new.
spot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, and a lot of times they will on Forest Service and BLM land cordon off those spots sometimes to allow for revegetation and things like that. So
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, this
'cause-
one, this one had even, I mean, it was a spot that was obviously well worn and used a lot, and it even had a fire ring. You know, just stones, but
Right. Somebody
obviously
before us made
been
it.
used a lot.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, when we boondocked near Salida recently, that was a place where there were some larger spots for RVs, but then they had cordoned it off with some wood fences because clearly they
Right.
wanted some of it to grow back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
I
do a
think
lot of
that-
that for revegetation
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
regrowth. Because it's I mean, Salida, Buena Vista, Durango, they're very, very popular camping areas. So you have a lot of weekend warriors along with the full-time RVers or things like that. So they have to, I mean, you have to take care of nature. You're out here and you love it. So
Well, and a
sometimes
lot of people-
sometimes
I'm sorry.
government has to come in and kind of just take care for you if
Yeah.
you're not going to do it for
Right.
yourself.
Because there's a lot of people that use this land for jeeping and off-highway vehicles, you know, the side-by-sides and razors and things like that. And so, you know, you gotta
Let it grow
you
back.
gotta let it come back, or it's just gonna get tore up. So hopefully, most people are staying. When you're doing that, you're staying on the trails, just like mountain biking and stuff. You want to stay on the trails and
Right.
not
hiking.
tear everything up. Hiking
Yeah.
too, yeah.
Because even like that BLM land, it had signs up that said no cross country. They wanted you
Travel.
to stay on the
Right.
tracks, the roads and tracks that were already built. That's what you should stay on.
Right.
So I mean, I'm from an outdoor education kind of principles too. Is like do your best to follow the L&T principles, the leave no trace.
Right.
So I mean, I don't need to go into all of them. There's 7 of them, but just kind of use your common sense. Leave no
Right.
trace as best as you can. And generally, one rule of thumb we always try to do is leave it better than you found it.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
the thing that
That's the Girl
we
Scout
as
way.
RVers need to do a better job of is when you get to a spot and someone hasn't done a good job of cleaning up after themselves and leaving no trace, then it's your job
Sorry,
to
it's
pick
now
up
yours.
after them.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is. It is because we want to keep these
Yeah, we want
places
to keep
available
them open,
for
right.
everyone. and
In a
so-
way,
Right.
you can look at that as your fee. You
Yeah.
didn't pay anything
Yeah.
for it, so
Exactly.
just pick up a few extra pieces.
Yeah,
of
because
trash.
if we trash it,
They're
it's
gonna
going to
close it.
go away.
They're
gonna
It's
close
going to
it.
get
Yeah,
closed down, and we're
absolutely.
not,
Yeah.
not going to have these great
Well, like
places
this
to
land
go.
right here, there's cows that are free range roaming, and so
yeah.
if people really left a mess, the people that let
Yeah,
the
could
cows
endanger the stock.
paid for the cows to roam around here, they're going to stop it. They're going
Right.
to close
They
it
will.
down because that's bad for the cows.
Yep.
Right.
All right, so now that we've defined what boondocking is, let's talk about how to find boondocking spots.
Can I first say that I have no idea how people did this before smartphones?
Right. I'm not sure how people RV before starting.
Right. Like, wait, you have to